Hey YouTube, this is Kirst, and today marks the start of a new series for Elsword MMD. I'm just going to be showing you tips and tricks on how to do various things in it that I found throughout the course of time. Right now I'm going to be extracting Detached 17, which is Elsword, and I'm going to be showing you how to import the weapons through PMX Editor as various accessories you can attach to the appendages of the characters. This will take a minute, it should extract, and as I wait, as you're waiting for this, you might as well get PMX Editor open because you're going to need it. Shouldn't take too much longer, I don't think. The import ready. And, oops, that's 18. I'm not looking for 18. Looking for 17. Yep, once this finishes, we're going to import them and work from there. Yeah, I'm just trying to find the, Yeah, it's a matter of finding the correct thing. I don't exactly know where the Infinity Sword is. I was having issues finding it earlier, and it doesn't seem like it's in here. So, considering I can't find it, I'm just going to take the Lord Knight weapon. I'm assuming that's what it is. Going to import that again. Do 1/10 and import. Now it looks a bit weird with two boxes on top of the whatever weapon it is. Every weapon will have at least like one or two boxes on it. You're going to want to go over to the PMX window thing, go to the 4th tab, and every section that's not marked with a 1, you can just hit X and delete them. They're not worth really anything. They can be easily deleted. So now, as with these, you're going to want to set the first 3 to 0.25, as I believe I had mentioned in a different video, and then the next set to 0.1. At least it works with characters, so I'm assuming it works with this. Then go to the 5th tab, which is bones. You're going to want to attach the first bone to bone 0, remove the lock so it's a rotating bone, and then make it invisible. That will make it so the center bone is what moves the entire piece. Now I'm also going to make sure I'm on vertice select mode, Control A, and then I'm going to try to line them up. So I'm just going to do that by using the red rotating line as a way to line that up and the side to side, and then use this as sort of a way to line it up via height. I could use a little bit higher. There. That's about right. It's about centered, which is where you're going to want it. That's pretty much all you have to do. Now you're going to want to, I recommend, save it as a PMX and a .x, which is what you use for the accessories. So now I'm just going to do weapon, Lord Knight, save as a PMX. And then that means I can go to data 17 and then find the weapon, which should be right here, the TGA for it. Put it back where I have it saved. Now you'll notice I have the weapon and the weapon texture, which means I can go back here. And to update the texture, we go to the 4th tab and just put a space and remove it. And now if you look, the weapon is set up like it would normally look in-game. I'm going to save it one last time. And then export as a .x. So weapon, okay, .x, and then save. Make sure you check 1/10 this time. For some weird reason, it shrinks them down, and then when it imports them into MMD, it raises them back up to normal size. So make sure it's 1/10. Hit OK. Now you have it exported, as you saw by this folder updating in the background. Now we have weapon lk.x and weapon lk.pmx. Now you're going to want to open MMD, which, just to show you simply, run it right here. I'm going to load a model and load the accessory. For now, I don't have a Lord Knight rigged. I don't know what happened to the Infinity Sword's weapon. It might be a bug in this version of the game itself. It should be EIS, but I can't manage to find it, so I'm just going to not bother for now. I have it in a different location, but not exactly sure where it is in this version. But anyway, I go under here in my stuff and import the model. Now, you're going to want to go back to the camera light accessory and load the accessory. Go to where you saved it and find weapon, whatever it is, .x. Open it, and there's the weapon imported in the center. Around the center, as you can see by the fact that half of it disappears when you're above the center line, which is good. That's what you want. Now you're going to want to attach it to your character, which, if you know how to do this already, you probably don't need to watch this part, but I don't remember what number it was, honestly, for the, it wasn't that. It might have been 44. Yep. So at least for my model, 44 is the wrist. You're going to want to attach it to whatever the wrist is of the character. In this case, I need to set -2 for the X and -0.5 for the Y, and then register it. And it should be within the character's palm of their hand. If you don't like the Z, you can change the Z a little bit. Actually, that probably should have been a -1. So if you want it to be in the center of the hand, but I'm just going to set the Z to 0 since it was like that in the model itself. And it makes the sword a little bit more balanced. So now all that's really left to do is, now that that's registered, if you move the character, the weapon moves with it. So now I'm just going to make these, move the arms down a little bit. And I'm going to shift the fingers around the sword, just to make it look a little bit more realistic. Doing that. There. And simply put, now you have a sword in the character's hand, which when you move the character, the sword will remain in the hand. For example, if you wanted the sword to detach at one point, I think, just for anyone who doesn't know how to do this, I'm pretty sure you could set, if you wanted to like break off at frame 10 or something, you could register to frame 9 where it is, and then at frame 10 you could just detach it to the ground or something, and then if you were to go through that, it should detach itself, maybe. Let's try that. Yeah, it detaches. Which, not that that's really necessary to make it kind of just break to the ground at one point, but oh well, that's not really what I'm here to explain. Other than that, simply put, that's how you work with weapons. At least that's how you work with the sword-like weapons. Now I'm going to explain a bit more the drones, which are a bit weirder. So now I'm going to go File, New, Start Over. That's been saved, so I'm good. Now I'm going to import, for example, Mesh, Eve, I believe CEL. Oops, don't know what happened here. I don't remember what it was, CEL. I don't remember, to be honest. Probably should check my list. Yeah, what I recommend doing is making an actual list of what is what, which I did here. So, ET. I strongly recommend doing what I just did. and making a folder when you mess around with that. So if you notice there is a weapon and weapon B, we're going to import both of those at the same time, 1/10. And if you go over to the fourth tab, you know how I said every other one besides a 1 you're going to want to delete? Same goes with this. Both of those are 2s. You can delete them. And now you have your 2 central drones. These are more centered than usual, which is a plus. So I'm just going to select one of them using, I believe, the third button. It's like that. Using, I think it's the fourth. Yeah. I should be able to, oops. I'm going to move it over by 3 in the X, I think. Is that how that works? I thought I knew how to work this. Apparently not. Yeah, I'm just going to shift them a little bit so I can work with them a little bit easier. I'm going to shift them until that pixel there reaches that line. Now swap the 2. That pixel there reaches that line and bring the other one back. Good enough. They're about further from each other than they were before. Now under the bones, each of the weapons have their own specific bone besides the center. You're going to want to select both those, disable the point that, I don't exactly know what they're called, the square bones, but yeah, don't make sure they're not square. I'm going to put these in the center of them. You only need to go sideways. Basically good enough. Now, at this point, we're going to need 2 centers, so I'm going to copy this I, C, and now we have a copy of the center. The significance of this is, well, simply put, so that each of these moves on their own. I'm going to set them right above the other ones. Although on the same planes the centers are, because it really doesn't matter specifically. It's only a few pixels off. But there. Now if you notice, the center bones are right on top of the other bones, and now we can attach... Make sure you're attaching it to the correct one. So now 2 connects to 0, in the case of mine, and 3 connects to 1. Now we're going to make both these invisible, and now you have just center bones attaching these. They're a little bit off, so I'm going to shift them down just a little bit so they're closer to the center of mass, with the exception of the extrusions. There. Now they're around the center of the drones, and both drones are set up. Honestly, I don't know if the drones are going to be in the correct hands, but it doesn't really matter considering the way we're going to extract these compared to the rest. So now I'm going to save these again as the PMX. And I'm just going to do it the way that they had. I believe it was just, what, ET. Now I'm going to take the, go back in the data and find the textures for them, which is pretty much really important. Copy them, go back, put them in, and then update the textures again, which is again done by just adding a space or something and removing it inside there. There. Now they have their updated textures and should be partially ready. Now here's the catch. These are 2 weapons, so you don't want to attach them as a single weapon attached to a bone. I mean, you can, but now they're going to rotate with each other. You could have imported them separately, but honestly, this is probably a better thing in regards to this. It's probably better to import them as a character. Oops, one thing I forgot to mention, again, do the 1.25, 0.25, or then the 0.1. But yeah, nope, we're going to import these as characters as compared to anything else. So this is where it comes into this sort of option. Going to want to add a new expression. I don't remember exactly what button you push. I think it's just new and then the first option. Yep, the new and then the first option. These are what they look like before before over here and then after over here. So if you notice when each drones attack, they widen a bit. So we're just going to make them capable of widening when they attack. Just like that. They basically launch themselves forward and look a lot wider. So now we're going to want to, I believe that is okay. I think, yeah, that is an okay. If you hit yes, that'll save it. If you hit no, you won't continue, and it will be done in here. Although in this case, I accidentally saved it twice, so I'm going to delete one of them because I don't need it. Oh, no, actually, no, wait, no, I think I'm, yeah. So now I'm going to edit it by double-clicking again, I think. Can I edit it? There we go. Yeah, right-click, and then the E should be an edit. Yep. This will allow you to see what it looks like in the transitional stage. Pretty much just when they attack, they elongate. So I'm going to cancel. I don't need to edit it. There we go. They both elongate. I'm going to save it. Now, instead, these are characters. They're not going to be .x files. They're going to be a .pmx. They move around on their own. They act like a character, which means they move separately of each other, but always come in that pair. Another important thing, at least type the English name to, like, weapon attack or weapon elongate or whatever, and then I'm going to save it. Now we're also going to open this up, but this is going to work a bit differently than the sword itself. Wait for this to open. Import the model. And now I'm going to go back to where we had the weapon ET. Doesn't have any info, but... Okay, good to note, they're backwards inside here, but... Oh well. Well, it's not too difficult to deal with that. Anyway, select both of... Actually, you can't. You have to move them one by one. Something isn't quite right here. I have absolutely no idea what happened. Something is off. Oh. Yep. Make sure that when you make a copy of these, the second one doesn't attach to the first. I'm going to save that and delete that and try that again. Other than the fact that they're attached to the wrong bones now. Yeah, unfortunately, this part's a bit of trial and error. So now this should be working fully. Delete that. Actually, no, it was under here. Okay, now they should move up on their own, separately of each other. And I'll lock them in place for now. And now, for example, when they're attacking, you can have... Okay, well, it shows up under the, like, eyebrow right here, but the weapons now elongate when they attack. So they launch forward, and now they're larger. But when they hit the target, they can go back to the normal size. That's the advantage of working with any weapon that's not actually attached to the character. You can have it detached and do pretty much anything in regards to, well, whatever you want it to do. It's a bit strange to work with, and I didn't really explain everything. Like, it shows the model as null. I recommend giving it a name here through the first window here, under the English side. And by all means, it does not have to be the green section here. You can set it to any of the other ones, but I don't remember what each of them are. One of them is going to be, one of them's the eyes, one of them's the mouth, one of them is, well, the eyebrow, and then one of them is other. I don't remember which one's which. Well, that's brow, so that might have been eyes, if I recall. I'm guessing that's other, so that's probably mouth. Don't hold me for my word, I could be completely wrong. But, yep. That's pretty much all there is to it. I mean, that's how you work with the attached weapons, that's how you work with detached weapons. You can make attached weapons detached, or if you want, you can import them to the character model itself and have them always attached. If you were to do that, you could have them shrink down indefinitely using the facial manipulation menu, like the other or something, so that only when you want the character to have the weapon actually expands to full view. But other than that, that's pretty much about it for this tutorial. Please comment, like, rate, subscribe, and I hope to see you next time, when I believe next time I'll either be going over the facial expressions, or if I figured out how to make them compatible with the motion datas, all these models, because right now they are not using the method that I have. But that's because you have to get specific names and orders, and I haven't quite figured out how to do that, considering you can't paste into PMX Editor. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.